Hey guys, we're back with another Handle with Care podcast. I'm Kamora Davis.
And I'm Sterling Atkins Dutro.
And today we're here with Kwan O'Neill, a school resource officer at Peoria High School.
How everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome. And if you don't mind, we'll just get straight into the questions and then bounce from there.
10-4.
What motivates you to go above and beyond for students?
Because I love my job and I just love being around students that make me better and keep building these relationships.
What do you see your students struggling with?
A lot of things. Number one is mental health. That's the number one thing I see a lot. The black community, we struggling with poverty and they not getting the help that they need.
What are some ways you'd recommend other support staff and colleagues help support students?
Be consistent. That's the number one key. Be consistent and don't be afraid to build relationships with these students because we all need help.
Can you recall a specific time when you provided support to a student?
It was my first year with the district when I came to Central. Yeah. This was one of them students that was a top 5 tier kid. He hated the police. He didn't want to be around us because of past history. We was in lunchroom, and I just took that chance because he was struggling. He just had somebody in his family get shot. This was one of these kids that was deep in the streets. And like I said, past history, he didn't want to give us a chance. But I took that chance, prayed about it, and now we here. So he's doing a lot better in life. It's going to make me terrible, but it was a good thing, because everybody labeled him as one of these gangsters. We talk once a month. He got his GED, got a job, taking care of his daughter. It's amazing. He left the streets alone.
Yeah, I think it's important to reach out because you never know what someone is going through. You don't know what's going off at home, and you don't know what could set them off.
I agree 1,000%. We as adults have to listen because these kids are crying out for help, and we miss everything when we yell at them and come at them the wrong way.
Who was your biggest supporter when you were a kid that led you to become an SRO?
Probably my grandparents and my uncles and my mom because they love dealing with people. I love what I do. I'm here to make this community better. That's the main reason why I became an SRO instead of being on the streets. I want to deal with you guys, see what the problem is, and let's bridge this gap to make this community better.
How do you think you've changed since you were a kid? Because I know you know my dad.
I changed a lot. I'm not going to lie, because I was one of them kids when I went to school that everybody didn't give a chance on me. And thank God that I had basketball, football coaches, and a good principal to keep me upright because it takes a village. It's more than an 8-hour job. It's 24/7 when you're dealing with kids because after school, you don't know what they go through, and then they bring it back the next day because they don't got nobody to talk to. Mm-hmm. We have to take on that role, especially not to give up and be that father figure or mentor, whatever that you got to do.
You mentioned crying out for help. That can be seen as defiant behavior.
Correct.
In the classroom setting, and I think it's important to recognize things and look at it through a trauma-informed lens. Like recognize what's going on,
Correct.
Recognize that you need to not just go straight at that student, but realize what could be going on at home. Whatever you say could make it worse.
They could not have breakfast or dinner or lunch for days. We wouldn't know that because they come in here sleepy, teeth not brushed, same clothes. So get to know them. That's why I say it's a relationship. Get to know them before you prejudge somebody. Mm. Letting the kids know you're a safe place for them. Then when they mess up, be consistent with it. Just don't pick on them. That's what these kids are missing, consistency in their life.
Yeah.
Trust. And once you build that trust and relationship, you good for the next 100 years until you pass away. I'm telling you. I've seen it because I dealt with the worst of the worst. They claim, but them the ones that love you the most. I just love kids in general,
Yeah, I think it's important for everybody to have at least one support, like staff or somebody that is on their shoulder, pushing them no matter what, telling them the truth instead of telling them what they want to hear, telling them whatever's going to get them to go forward. Because even if they don't recognize it in the moment, they're going to recognize it later. That the real cold hard truth is going to help them later on.
Correct.
So,
because once they have kids, it's repeat itself. So when you was bad in school, your kids going to be bad if you don't consistently train them the way you want them to be.
Exactly.
Students of color are more likely to be disciplined with suspensions and being expelled. How do you fix this?
It's not a one-person thing. Mm-hmm. It's like I said, it's a village thing that we have to all sit down. Whoever in that position, everybody need help fixing this because this problem is not going away. And I'm glad you asked that question because this is a nation problem. Mm-hmm. It's just not a District 150 problem. The whole world is seeing it because it deals with poverty. It's no jobs, in we could talk about Peoria. There's no jobs here. So we can help that by getting out and voting. We need everybody to vote. And I want to talk about that before we lead the podcast today. But and putting the pressure on our city councilmen and our mayors. You know what I'm saying?
What advice would you give to your younger self from where you're at now?
Ooh, good question. My younger self wish I would have took my freshman years more serious. I was trying to fit in. I wish I would have came into high school more focused. That was me. That wasn't my parents. That was my fault.
I know your job can sometimes be hard, but how do you avoid like the burnout of it?
I use coping skills. I listen to a lot of music. Tupac, the greatest of all times. I pray a lot, and I feed off my wife. So when I'm having bad days, I talk to her. We talk about it before I come in the house because I get off work late at night, and I make sure I don't take it out on the kids or the next day.
What's the best thing administrators can do to support teachers and staff and SROs?
Be consistent. Stay consistent. Stay true to who you are, and don't give up. Keep the faith. If you got a plan in place, plans are not meant to be done in one day. It's a plan for a reason. So let's stick to the script and keep supporting each other. I think that's the biggest thing I see. It's not enough support, especially with the adults. And then when the kids see that, they lose focus and lose trust. So when that teacher having a bad day, pick them up, talk to them. So let's be a team. We're going to have them days where we uncomfortable. That's all right, though. As long as we know the goal is to get these kids graduated and get jobs and make sure their families is successful.
Was there a specific teacher growing up that had an impact on you?
I had a lot of teachers, man. It was a lot. It was a village. And that's what we miss. Because when you did wrong by one person, everybody knew about it, and it was, man, you was in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we got to get back to, being a village, liking each other. We got to be on the same page, and half of us right now in this district ain't on the same page. The kids see that. We got to get these people out the house and vote, because to me, we are putting wrong people in wrong places. So if you don't get out and vote and they don't hear y'all voice, this is y'all future. That's why I tell these youngsters, get out and vote and start looking at each other as human beings. That's why Martin Luther King was my favorite. I appreciate y'all having me. I applaud y'all for doing this. Like, you planted the flower and you watered it, and you see this person graduating 4 years when people told this person, you ain't gonna make it. And then that, man, it just tears me up. Every class that I've been here in 10 years, and I love it. Because that's the challenge I love to take. When people say you can't do nothing, because I was one of them kids. Oh, he got tattoos, he's this and that, and I loved it. And then when you look at my, not trying to brag, because it could be taken away, but I just love it, because when you see my resume of work, and they be like, that's you? Yeah, it's me. The same person that you say I will never be nothing in life, and I look at me. Mm-hmm. And I love it. So I just love what I do, man. I love the kids. I just love the culture, and it's going to get better. I tell people, Rome wasn't built in a day. So we got work to do, and we're going to continue striving for greatness. Another thing I would like to see is a lot of our alumni come back and get jobs, because it seems like I use Peoria. A lot of people come back, but they always move out and use our taxpayer money to build their community. Mm. I would like them to come back with degrees and come back to our community. Ain't nothing wrong with Peoria. Everybody have violence.
Exactly.
But like I said, we got to get a team that's willing to put the boots on the ground instead of all that talking. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing now, a lot of talking and not a lot of walking.
Exactly. Peoria has so much potential, because I want to be a civil rights attorney when I'm older. So I'm going to go away for school, and then I'm going to come back when I have my law degree, and I'm going to help be an advocate for people that can't speak out in the way that I'd be able to with my law degree.
I love to have these uncomfortable conversations.
Someone told me one time, you never want to be comfortable. You always want to push yourself, get out there, and be as uncomfortable as you can be, because that's going to allow for more opportunities than what you might have thought in the beginning.
I tell youngsters, don't worry about what the naysayers say. It's always going to be somebody hating. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about that. Keep doing you and keep striving. And that's what we go do here in Peoria, Illinois.
If I came back to Peoria, it would allow me to participate more in the community that I grew up in.
Yes, sir.
And I'd be able to not only just see it change, but be a part of the change.
If kids are struggling and they don't have anyone to talk to, who should they go to?
They can always see us. We are not that bad. It's just everybody think we are bad because we always got to come at the end to get a kid when they fighting or messing up. We are good people, y'all. We just got the uniform on. And like I said earlier, it go back to trusting us. Mm-hmm. We got to build in relationships, because when you break a kid down one-on-one, some of these kids, like I dealt with, broke down and told me why they don't like people in the uniform, because of past relationships with their uncles, daddies, you know what I'm saying, mamas. So we got to break that gap. It starts with us in the school, building that trust. And I think once we build enough trust with these youngsters, you know what I'm saying, then that goes spill to the streets. They just don't trust the police.
Exactly.
And I understand that because they think we all bad. That's like me assuming all y'all are bad, you know, looking at y'all, not even talking to y'all. And then when they open up, oh, you a teddy bear. But at the same time, I know how to be a light switch.
Thank you for being here and sharing all your thoughts. It's important for everybody to understand where everyone's coming from and their thought process. To the Handle with Care podcast. We hope this episode gave you a better understanding of what students and staff may be going through and ways to support them. Remember, you never know what the person next to you is going through. If this episode resonated with you and you need resources but are not quite sure where to find them, they are located on the same page as the podcast.